Welcome back to the Dad Compass podcast. I am your host, Dmitry,
And I'm your host, Patrick.
and today we're going to do something a little bit different than we've been doing. We're going to touch on kind of the business side of fatherhood. Me, I'm a virgin to that part of it. And I'm still in the process of getting my cherry popped. Patrick, on the other hand, is pretty well versed and has had a business for over 5 years now, I believe.
No, you just make
Yeah,
shit up.
yeah, for 10 years.
We're close to 3.
Three's a long time.
I think it's still a virgin, but
Yeah, it's a virgin, but you're making moves and you know what you're doing, and I think that's really really impressive.
we're not impregnated yet.
Not yet, but it's coming. It's coming in you. It's inserted.
Nice.
Now we just turned this whole entire episode about impregnating each other with businesses.
I mean,
We
it's
fuck,
what we
fuck
do,
this up every
Dimitri.
time, dude.
It's what we do. All
Every
right.
single time.
Where do we want to start? Well, first and foremost, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did have a pretty good Thanksgiving. It was all right. I can't say it was. I was supposed to. I meant to smoke the turkey, and unfortunately, it was windy as hell. So I was only able to throw it on the smoker for an hour and a half, and then I had to put it in the oven for the rest. And I was really disappointed. But take the turkey away from it. I mean, granted, everyone still enjoyed it. It was really nice driving out to see family. My daughter was spending the weekend with my mom, so they're coming back today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Yeah, it was good, man. How about yours?
It was good. Had all of my kids. Logan was in town. First time I've seen him in a couple months. It was good to see him, obviously, and then had a couple friends. My kids' friends had friends over that joined us.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, like I don't know the situation. I don't want to overshare, but one of them was in a relationship that just got out and didn't sound like it was a good relationship and didn't have anywhere else to go. And then the other was Davis's girlfriend, and her family's here, but they were doing like Friendsgiving, and so she said she'd rather come hang out with Davis and us. So
Very cool.
it was good. Deanne crushed it. She did a lot of the work from start to finish. She was in the kitchen for a long time. I did the turkey, but outside of that, Deanne did everything else. And then my mom did. She contributed too. She had made some stuff prior to coming over and then helped out as well. So yeah, it was good. It was good. Played some board games at the end of the day and decompressed a little bit.
Yeah. What did you play?
Liar's Dice.
Okay.
It's a game my son learned in college, I think.
Gotcha.
I've kind of seen it before, so it was fun though. It was fun. I got my ass kicked, but it was good.
Played Break the Ice with my son and my aunt.
The
was
old
the
school one?
Yeah, the penguin game.
Nice.
Dude. Yeah, that was some nostalgia. It was a lot
cool.
of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been eating Thanksgiving leftovers since Thursday, and I'm not even sad about it.
Damn. We didn't I don't think we didn't really have many
You didn't have any leftovers?
have as much as we thought we were gonna have.
Got it. I mean, we have a shitload. My mom took a little bit, but everything else stayed here. So
I think I left most of the turkey. Some of the turkey, dude, my uncle, he grabbed the whole thigh, and he's sitting here at the end of the table, is like chowing down this high, and he's like, "I've officially handed you over the reins to making the turkey for the holidays."
nice.
And it's funny because it wasn't. I didn't even think it was like it was still a bit dry. Like it wasn't that dry. It just, I think when the breast was cut, it should have just been put right back into the juices instead of on a serving plate. But it could have been better. I hope next year it's not fucking windy. It probably will be.
Just gonna have to start smoking stuff in your house.
Yeah, it's a fucking great idea. I, I told him I'm gonna bring ribs for Christmas. I'm gonna smoke some ribs. Ribs are fun.
All right, let's kick this off. What do you want to start?
Let's do I guess like what pushed you from wanting to start a business to actually doing it?
All right, that's a good question. So I've worked at the same place for almost 24 years. I had been in management for, well, let's just say I've been in management now for 15 years. So operationally, I just kind of, I don't know, like I felt confident with my abilities. It's a mixture of a couple things. The one thing was I wanted to have a quote unquote retirement plan. And so my retirement plan was to own my own business.
Yeah.
So you got to start somewhere. And I would say when I turned 40, I just became a little bit more strategic in what I was doing with my money. I think honestly, since I was in the field, I've always lived paycheck to paycheck, but now I just kind of set myself up a little bit differently, like with some investments and obviously the business. So, and I don't make anything off the business today. It's it's more. I think it would take a little bit of capital, and we could really get things moving, but we're just not in that spot right now. So it's really just it's almost just a hobby. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of what it is.
All right. You know what's funny? You know how like every single time we always have some shit that's fucked up. Um, your audio is coming through your webcam.
I don't know. I don't know why you think that's funny.
So we will be right back in 2 seconds. Here we go. Now we're back. All
All
right.
right. Last thing I said is it's kind of just a hobby right now.
Okay. Well, it's a hobby, but you also it's not. So I think what mine is more so of like a hobby or something that I like to do that I thought I could turn into something more. Yours, I think, is something that's going to pay off financially in the long run. So I think it, and maybe it's because you're older. And like you said, once you kind of hit 40, you kind of started to get a better idea of, you thought more so about the future. Um, and I just think that your two businesses that you have, because you don't just have one. Um,
Well, I mean, technically, yes. I don't have an LLC for my properties, but both of those were future. Yeah, they're both future investments. One is a potential out or a sale, uh, and that's the business itself.
what is what? I'm sorry. I think I
It's
just
like
blacked out.
build the business up, and then I could potentially sell it when I retire
Gotcha.
for money, or retire early. You know, 10 years from now, and run the business.
Well, and one of your businesses is, it's called Mad Gap, Sober Living in Colorado. Um,
Not
and I think
sponsored.
not, well, kind of sponsored because we got one of the owners right here.
That
Um, I think that what you started had a impact on you and your business partner. And I think you guys are absolutely killing it. Like you always have some stories, and you had that a couple episodes, not a couple, but maybe like 10 episodes back. You told the story of how you kind of changed this dude's life, because if he didn't find you guys and wasn't able to be there, he probably wouldn't have joined the military and kind of moved on with his life.
yeah, I think that there's well, and I'll tell you, I think that you can make a lot of money in this industry, and it's not why we did this. Of course, we're a business and we want to make money. But ultimately, when me and my business partner first chatted, our goal was to make money off of real estate. And that's been kind of the struggle right now. Like, we don't have the capital to expand and buy our own place. So we're renting. And so a lot of the money that comes to us literally just goes back to rent, which
Yeah.
if we own the house, you're still doing the same thing. It's just going to a mortgage, but it's your mortgage.
Yeah.
It's your investment now at that point. um, so yeah, our goal was to do a house a year. I think what we learned, I mean, we've learned some things for sure, but it's been more hands-on and not a ton, not a ton, but to kick off a house was definitely it was a lot of work. I
Yeah,
guess that's what I'm getting at. And you have to get into like a rhythm, you have to get the right people in place. Like every house is ran by what we call a senior house resident, and we've been super fortunate to have 4 awesome senior house residents in that time frame. What we initially envisioned was we'd have a senior house resident, and then we'd have like a senior house resident in training, and then we would get our
yeah,
new place and we would just move somebody over. Well, a lot of people enter in our house don't have transportation. They end up getting jobs really close to the house. So if you don't get another house that's close and you go into another city,
yeah.
it's just not an easy transition to move somebody over.
But are you guys still at one house?
Yeah, I mean, without additional capital, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense. That's kind of this isn't a play to get more capital, but maybe it is. I don't know. Somebody
Gotcha.
listening wants to throw us some money. That'd be cool.
Well, I mean, yeah, if somebody's listening and they're in if you're in the Colorado, south of Denver area, and you have somebody that's struggling with addiction or something that's going on, go ahead, leave us a comment, drop your email, and maybe we'll reach out. I'm sure Patrick would love to help you or your loved ones any way that he can.
For sure. For sure.
So you kind of answered the part of the next question is kind of like your startup, like how you guys got started and why you got started, maybe. Um, so what do you think? Do you Jesus Christ? Let me today, Junior. Stop stuttering. Is there a moment that you were like, you know what I'm doing right now just really isn't cutting what I want things to be in the future? Like, do you remember that moment if you had one of those?
Yeah, I don't remember it being necessarily a specific. Like, I didn't wake up one day and be like, "Man, what the fuck am I doing with my life?" But I definitely woke up one day and was like, "What the fuck am I doing with my life?" You know, you get to a certain age, you don't handle your finances very well. Um, you get into some kind of debt. So after my divorce, I really focused on getting out of debt. And then at one point, the only thing I had was my mortgage. I had rebuilt my credit. I was in a pretty good spot. So that's when I was able to make some moves and, purchase a couple houses in Texas, and then um obviously start the sober living company.
Was it scary when you were getting into buying the houses?
I don't think I was ever scared. I watched quite a few podcasts on purchasing houses. Um, I have a friend who owns 15 houses that I was able to bounce a bunch of like what ifs off of them.
Yeah.
So they kind of helped me, and then they also bought houses in the same town that I bought houses. I say
Oh, very
town, it's a
cool.
city, in the same city that I bought houses. So they were able to give me some referrals. They were able to tell me like,
Gotcha.
hey, this didn't work for us. So that was kind of helpful. Um, and then as far as the sober living goes, similar situation. My business partner had a buddy that owned 6 sober livings, and he went to lunch with us and gave us a bunch of, you know, ideas. And then when probably in our first year, if we ran into certain situations, we called him. I don't think that relationship's super strong anymore, but it was very helpful, and I'm super appreciative of that individual for helping out. So
Okay. So this
I wasn't scared. uh, I don't think.
gotcha. Yeah. So do you think that younger fathers, maybe even my age, because I'm 34, um, and maybe in their 20s, that the thought of starting a business is pretty intimidating. I know for me it was incredibly intimidating. It took a long time to take the steps, but what value can you give to somebody that's let's say in their 20s, they just had a kid and they really want to change up their life a bit and potentially start a venture into creating a better future for themselves that's not working a 9 to 5.
I think you should take the risk. I know that that's like without knowing what all's on the table. I think you have to take a little bit of risk. And they can be calculated risks, but I personally, I mean, I've always wanted to own my own business, and I don't know why. I think some of it is because I don't always do well with management, like being
Yeah.
managed. Like, if something doesn't go my way at work, I'm kind of a fucking baby about it. Some of it is because I think I'm the smartest person in the room, and I am fully aware that that is a fault of mine because I'm not always the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
um, but I've struggled when somebody's told, and it's not that somebody says, "Hey, I need this done." That's not necessarily the thing. It's if it's doing something that's going to impact the business negatively, that's where I struggle
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, we can't do this because of this, this, and this. And they were like, just do it because I said so. I just don't do very good with that kind of management style. And working for corporations, they don't give a shit. So I think growing up, I've always struggled a little bit with,
Authority.
yeah, authority. Yeah. And it's weird, not like with cops and not with teachers and not necessarily with my parents, but um my mom. But I also think that my own intelligence has gotten in the way of that because I think I know better. And sometimes I'm wrong.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of with you there. Not like thinking I'm like the smartest person in a room, but definitely like I think I have a lot more common sense ideas and it things make sense. And I think the hardest thing for me is and was for a majority of the years working is bringing up an idea and having somebody kind of shit all over it. And that's after a certain point, I think you have to take the risk and say, you know what, fuck it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Well, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to start something, it's going to fail, and then now you're gonna know exactly what not to do. Um, Even if it takes you, I've had like I spoke to a few photographers, and because that's my stuff, and they're all like, sometimes we just start a business just to fucking start it, just to have one. You don't even necessarily have to do anything with it, but get it started. So if you did want to do something, you're already well equipped. Um, and I think being your own boss and being able to make your decisions and to, destroy shit because of your own decisions or make them great because of them is kind of a wake up call to, hey, maybe you're a little bit more retarded than you thought. Um, and you have more experience because you've been doing this for 3 years. I'm like 2 months in. I haven't done shit.
Well, and we're both in similar situations, but my advice to somebody would be go all in. Don't just dabble because then it does become a hobby. And like, I think that the thought of going all in 3 years ago wasn't really realistic for me. And it may not be realistic for you, but it's hard to see that vision, right? Like you book 2 sessions and you make $100 in a week. I'm just using numbers, but you're like, I'd have to book 27 sessions just to pay for my insurance and pay for all this. And so you're like, that's just not realistic. I can't do that right now because I have my other job I got to do.
Yeah. And you're
I
my
think
boss
that,
at my other job.
what's that?
I said, and you're my boss at my other job.
I think that that's hard. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And so then it does become a hobby, right? Like, and it's not like your hobby can't take off, Dmitry. And that's kind of like where we're at with our business too. We have a really nice house. This is
It's a beautiful house.
most people that nobody in the house has ever said that it's not the nicest house that they've been in. How about that?
Yeah.
And we'll get somebody who's been to 5 or 6 other sober livings. We get people who've been sober livings from other states. We have a really nice house, and we decorated it to be a home, not
Yeah.
to be like a fucking prison.
Yeah.
Um, and
So there's no bars anywhere?
no bars. But like a lot of
Bars of soap
places,
either?
what's that?
Is there any bars of soap? No community shower?
A lot of places won't hang pictures and stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
The furniture is pretty generic. Like we put a lot of money in the furniture. We hung pictures on the wall. And I know that sounds like a small thing, but when you're coming in, it's a little bit more inviting, if that makes sense. But we also have tried to do things with integrity from start to finish, and we've never done it to make money. And so the thought process is treat people the way that they want to be treated, you know, be there while they're going through this pretty hard time in their life. And, you know, your payment will eventually come back to you.
Yeah.
It may not be today, but your payment will come back to you. And you know, we've had some referrals, and guys that live in the house would go to a meeting and run into somebody else who was looking for a sober living, and they wouldn't just grab anybody, right? They would grab somebody who they thought would be a good fit, who deserved to be in the house. But then there's other sober livings that they have fucking wait lists. And that to me is mind blowing that you have a wait list, because sometimes you can't wait.
Yeah, I think in with that stuff, you really can't wait. It's you got to stop doing whatever you're doing, and a momentary um, sense of clarity might be the thing that gets somebody back up on their feet and making the right decisions. And if they got to wait and they jump right back into it, yeah, that's unfortunate. Granted,
Well,
I
and
know
we've
you can't always accommodate 1,000 fucking people, but
right.
you help whoever you can.
Well, and we've done some things that probably are a little unorthodox for sober living. Like me and my business partner, we try to make it both of us, but at a minimum, it's always one of us. We meet that person face to face before we even give them a contract to sign, and that's not
Yeah,
common in this industry. You could literally go to a lot of other sober livings, fill out an application online, and then they'll tell you whether you're accepted or not, and then you can move in. Well, we're trying to keep our culture right, and we want people to understand, what the house is about. So I think we've done some really awesome things. I think, um, we're both a little old school in that we're not in it to make money. So our motivation with the people is a little bit different. Um, we do try to get as many people in the house as possible, within reason. We can house up to 11, but our cap's kind of at 10. We had 11 at one point, and it's just too many dudes.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
And I know that like one less dude doesn't seem like much, but it that shit matters when you're talking about showers and shared space and all that other
Yeah,
shit. So
it's an odd number.
it
It's
is an
odd.
odd number, but we usually fluctuate between 6 and 8, and that's kind of that sweet spot that helps set the culture, that helps the new person coming in not feel extremely overwhelmed. So there's a lot of benefit to it.
Very cool. Awesome. So how
So
about I'm listening.
so I think for me, and like I said, I don't want to disrespect the situation, but it legitimately is kind of a hobby with the potential to eventually take off. I don't know what that looks like. About every quarter, me and my business partner take a couple days off from our normal jobs, and we go and hit rehab facilities and detoxes just to kind of get our name out there. And we've built a couple relationships doing that. So that's been nice, and helpful. Um, but today it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
It's a hobby, and it does have potential to take off. And like I said, with the right capital, we could make some serious moves. My business partner he's older than me. but he's getting to the point where he could be retiring soon, and when that happens, I think we might make a big push to grow. And I don't know what that looks like for me, because I do a lot of the operational stuff. Not that he's not capable of doing it, but his focus is more on the sobriety side, where I'm focusing more on the operational side, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Well, it does because you also do a lot of the operation stuff within, the place that we work.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's kind of your forte.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, the house is super close to me, so it's not close to him, so it's way more convenient for me to um stop by and take care of a lot of those logistics.
Yeah. All right. Question for you. So, do you think building a business builds purpose or stress?
Both.
Okay. Do you think that it's a good choice for most people?
No.
How about dads that feel as if there's something kind of pulling at them to make a decision? We shouldn't let the fear of that failure prevent us from taking that leap.
I think that what you just said is true. I think not owning a business is not for everybody, and not everybody should take that risk. I don't know. I can't paint the picture of the person that's supposed to do it right now, but
Well, I guess maybe not supposed to do it, but more so, like you said, you always wanted to have a business. That's kind of been a part of your.
I went to college for small business management. Like it's what I've always wanted to do.
Okay. So you already had this thought process a long, long, long time ago before you even had kids.
Yeah, you want to know the first business I wanted to do?
Yeah.
A video store. That would have flopped.
I mean, maybe. Dude, I'm just saying, I think some of the nostalgia with that stuff probably would kick it back. I think that people would get back into those digital video store.
There you go.
Um, no, I think that, I mean, I always wanted to start something. I mean, it took me 3 years, maybe. I think maybe I'm at like 4 years now that I talked to you about it. I mean, hell, it was like 4 years ago when I think we talked about the podcast initially. Um, but I always picked your brain about it. And I was always curious because there was, it was more sort of like an aspiration to become better. And in my eyes, how do you become better? Well, you become better by doing little things every day. I'm not great at doing little things every day. I'm very good at just like crashing through a fucking wall and then being like, cool, I just did all this stuff. And then I'm going to sit at that crash site for a good couple weeks, maybe months. And then I'll find something else to go through. Um, I think there was a lot of fear for me to get one started because there's that fear of failure, and you have that confidence that says, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck up, and if I fuck up, then I'm gonna be letting my family down and myself down." Um, Guiding people in the right direction to start one. I think you were a big part of why I started mine because I look up to you and you're a good dude. I have my neighbors as well, and they're like, you know what, man, just do it. Just get it started. Don't be afraid of it. So if you are considering starting one, just do it. Like don't don't overthink it. Don't sit there and dwell. Is it going to fail? Is it going to do good? Is it going to do bad? Just get moving because you'll thank yourself.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think that there's certain businesses require a different amount of financial backing to start.
Yeah,
Your specific situation, like, and I know you went and bought some stuff, but you legitimately could have started it with you know the the equipment you had, right?
yeah. And that's just not me.
For sure, for sure. So you ended up putting more money into it, but I think that
Yeah,
that's part of the struggle for some people, is that like you you're like, oh, I need this camera and I need this and I
yeah,
need to get my backgrounds and I got to do all this, and it's $10,000. I don't have $10,000, so
yeah,
I'm just not going to start the business right now.
yeah,
Where if you already have the camera and use your creativity, and then you next thing you
yeah,
know, and I'm just using that your business as an example, but just start fucking doing things. Get your
yeah,
LLC, get your name out there, do some shit for free,
yeah,
just to show people that you know what you're doing, and then start upgrading all of that shit. And you
Yeah,
could
that's the
probably
right way
do
to
it
do it.
to where, what's that?
I said that's the right way to do it.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. You could probably do it to the point where you're never putting money out of your own pocket.
Yeah,
There's other businesses that it doesn't matter. You have to, like, we had to furnish a whole entire house.
yeah,
So we had to spend money on that. We can't start a sober living and be like, hey, you got to sleep on the floor until we have a couple more people, and then we'll have enough rent money and a little extra, and we'll get you a bed. Like, you
you
can't do it
yours
in
was
that
carpeted,
situation.
so
What's
you
that?
I said, "You get to sleep on the carpet
On the
today."
carpet. That's right.
Tom had an accident, and Tom's sleeping on the floor, so
We have a used blow up mattress. We're just gonna give to you, but
that's funny. Is there
yeah.
blood on it?
So
Yeah, don't worry about it.
and then I'm not downplaying your situation, but there is different levels of commitment that you
Yeah,
have to understand. Like, I had to take a loan out
yeah,
to put my part into the company, because I just didn't have the money sitting. I had some of the money, but for the most part I had to take a loan out
yeah,
so we could furnish a house, start the website, do all of that stuff to
yeah,
get going. And, like, the website didn't have to happen.
yeah.
Certain things didn't have to happen, but
High risk, high reward, right? Is that what they say?
that is what they say. That is what they say.
Kinda having a there's a thing that this is, like, years ago. I was listening to a book, and they said he's like, "The man that plays it safe in life will never achieve the greatest that he wants, and the man who takes the risks will eventually fail, but he'll achieve far more." And I think it was talking to a sense about investing, and you have somebody that's just going to play it safe constantly, and yes, at the end of the day they're going to get something out of it. And then you have the individuals that are okay with a bit of volatility, and they're going to make these choices that are going to benefit them in the long run, or they might completely cripple them. And I think having that fear of being crippled is a lot of pressure. I deal with it. I would assume that there's plenty of other people out there that also have, deal with that. But that doesn't mean we don't do it. I think that's kind of like the best part of it. And to your point, maybe starting a business isn't for everybody. Like, I'm still having a hard time understanding if I even did the right thing. But when you take into account all the things that are important to you and even your family, how do you want to be remembered? For me, it's like, well, I kind of want my kids to remember me taking a risk. Granted, mine's nowhere near as big of a risk as yours was. Like you said, you had to take out a loan, you had high startup costs. But I don't want them to be afraid to make these decisions later on. So for me, I guess it's more so of like a man up and just fucking do it, and kind of tell them that whatever you want to do, you can just do it. You don't have to be afraid of it. So for me, I guess I started mine more so just for my kids. It's for myself too. A lot of it's for myself. I like buying new shiny shit, but um, I think the lesson is for them.
Well, yeah, no, that's it. We haven't even talked about that from my standpoint, but I think for me, Davis has got a pretty entrepreneurial, I think I said that right, mind. And so I would like to see him. I need to So he doesn't want to go to college, and I'm not a guy that wants to force my kids to go do something they don't want to do. I do think that if he does want to um, own his own business down the road, I think that there's some things that could be extremely impactful for him that he doesn't even realize, that nobody told me the importance of that. But I feel like I learned more at my job about managing a business than I ever would have learned in college. The part where I struggle is not the financial part as much, but like insurance, all of that shit that our business needed to have. I never did any of that stuff with my current business.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to have some kind of, like, I don't know, we had some support when we first started, but now
Yeah.
like all that shit falls on me and I fucking suck at it. I suck at it. I'm
Well,
good
that
at
goes back to
the
that stress.
what's that?
So that kind of goes back to that stressor purpose. That's the stressful aspect of it, right?
Yep. Yep, absolutely. But going back to what you were initially saying, I'm glad that I've gone through some of these things because I think I can help guide Davis to start his own business, whatever that ends up being down the road. And to your point, I would like to push him to do it sooner, even if that means he's got to live with me a little bit longer after he graduates.
Yep.
Those were opportunities that I just didn't have or I didn't see.
Yeah.
So, the other part of this for me is, creating some kind of legacy when I do. I'm hoping I can retire sooner than the normal age.
Yeah.
And even if it's only 5 years sooner, I want to be able to enjoy that
Yeah.
because I fucking worked my ass off for the last 20 years and I don't want to do that shit for the rest of my life. The other part is when I pass, I want to be able to, I don't want my kids to be independently wealthy and turn into fucking shitheads but I would like to be able to give them something.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you each get two houses or you each get two houses and they're paid off
Yeah.
and you can use them as rental properties or you can sell them and do whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that'd be pretty cool. And so I think he's going to see what you've done. And no matter what, like you are who you surround yourself by, and we surround our kids. So if we can be better, we're giving our kids a kind of head start with it. We're teaching them things that they're able to do, and ideas that we might have not have had at that age, might not have had at that age.
Right.
Um, because like you said, if he's got an entrepreneurial mind, he's going to be able to make the decisions and make the choices and say, "Hey, Dad, you did this. Was it hard?" And you're going to say, "Yeah, it was pretty fucking hard, but it doesn't have to be that hard for you because I'm going to show you and teach you everything I know to push you in the right direction and help you get your feet on the ground or standing." I don't know how that thing goes. Um, and I think that's maybe our goal. Like that's everybody can offer something different for their kids, and we can offer knowledge as long as that knowledge is valuable.
Well, and at the end of the day, like money matters to a certain extent, but I also want my kids to see the lives that I've impacted doing sober living. Because ultimately that's been the best part of doing this, like changing people's lives. Uh it's a pretty good feeling. And it wasn't even necessarily why I got into this. I have always been I think my people skills are pretty exceptional. I try to put myself in other people's shoes and, have some compassion when you're dealing with people and be empathetic to a certain extent. Um, but the other part of this sober living that I learned is I think I never realized how one bad seed could fuck up a culture so bad. And I would let people's skill at work um, t- be an excuse for having a shitty attitude. And I learned doing sober living that, and it wasn't necessarily bad attitudes, but like if one dude drank, I'd be like, you can't be like, oh man, it's all good. We all make mistakes.
Yeah,
You can have that compassion when dealing with the situation, but the reality of it is you got to go because all these other people are impacted by your decisions. So you got to go. And it helped me manage people better. I don't put up with bullshit as much as I used to.
yeah,
I don't care what your skill level is. If you're going to fuck up the culture, you're not a good fit.
yeah.
And we'll figure it out without you. I guarantee it.
This is where you say, Dmitry, I'm giving you your 2 weeks notice.
Oh, no, you're not getting 2 weeks. Somebody's actually at your door to get all of your assets.
Yeah, it's funny about all my assets are my personal assets.
It's true. It's true.
Except this fucking broken chair. But let's work on that. What was I gonna say? Oh, So you started your business because you wanted to help, right? There was a part of you that you went through some sort of addiction. Your business partner went through, and you guys wanted to have something that can help people that were struggling, right?
Um, yeah. So for me, it was a couple different things. The When I got into real estate, I started listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast, and which is a really good investment podcast to listen to if you've never heard it. I know they changed hosts and I don't listen to it anymore, but at the time when I was listening to it, they had some really, really good hosts. They were normal guys just like us that kind of took some risks and learned a lot of shit by failure, and then also learned by some successes. Anyways, they had a lady on there. Her father had owned a business. I think it was her father's business, and he had passed, and she took it over. But essentially, it was housing for ill people. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I never would have thought of that. And then realistically, right around the same time, I had a good friend living in a sober living, and I was kind of talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, there was two people to a room and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, that person just so happened to know my business partner. So I called my business partner and was like, hey, can you put me in connection with the guy that owns the other sober living? And then he said he would be interested in doing it, because we've kind of talked about it a little bit, and he said he wasn't in a right part of his sobriety to start the business. So long story short, we kind of started chatting, and then we ended up meeting with the individual, and that's how we kicked things off. So for me, it started with like real estate. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy, problem solving. Like, I'm
Yeah,
an ops person. So like, as much as you hate when your phone rings, it's nice when you can figure something out.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
So, I don't know if I answered your question, but it kind of started from the real estate thing and kind of just expanded from there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That
to your
that is,
point, my business partner battled addiction, and it was something that was important to him.
yeah. So you guys had skin in the game.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice. Mine is I just like to be creative. And I say that, but like realistically, the hardest part about like saying like I like to be creative is when you can't be creative and then you're just mentally fucked. Um, the first thing I ever shot and got paid for was because of my daughter, you know, because that's who she just says. She's got her friend, and they were talking about having a baby shower, and she's like, "Oh, my dad's a photographer. He's gonna take your guys' pictures." And she comes home, she's like, "Hey, Dad, I got you a job." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "I told them that you're a photographer, and now they want you to take their pictures." And I was like, "Oh, why would you do that?" And I think that if she didn't do that, as like silly as that sounds, like I don't think I would have even considered starting a business. Well, I don't think I would have like done anything with it because I remember as a kid looking through photo albums, and all they are is just stored memories that you can look back on. Now everything's kind of digital, and I don't have any albums of my family in Russia. I just don't. And I think for me, it's like pretty valuable to like capture people's moments and have them look back on it and be like, you know what? I remember what I felt that day. Man, I remember that because it doesn't help them financially. It doesn't help them in many ways, but I think mentally it allows them to go back to a place that was good or a happy time. And that's kind of why I started mine because I want to be the person that captures that moment for somebody. And I mean, it gets paid for it. That's cool too.
Yeah. You got to be passionate about what you're doing. And that creates some passion of like,
It's hard doing the same shit, dude. It's really difficult doing the same stuff for like an onslaught of years. Just to say, you know what, I feel mentally stuck. I feel like I, as a person, have not grown as much as I could. I feel like I should be in a different position. I could do more, offer more, yada yada yada. And I think the best way to get out of that isn't necessarily by switching a job, but creating the opportunity for yourself in your life to succeed. Um, and to your point, having that passion, if you pick something that you enjoy doing, eventually you're not going to enjoy it as much because that's like what how with mechanics, you know, the last thing that they want to do when they get home after they were working on cars is working on their own damn car,
Right.
but or work on their neighbor's car like my neighbor does. Good guy. Um, but yeah, I think some at some point you just realize that I should be doing something that makes me happy, and there's steps that you have to take to get there. And the first step is just deciding that you know what, fuck it,
Take some risk.
take some risk, man. Don't be afraid of it, or be terrified, or be absolutely fucking terrified, and still do it. Give yourself that. I think that's the most important thing. You got to give yourself as an individual that confidence that you're looking for from everyone else to give you. Give it to yourself. You're the one that's telling you can't do shit. You're the reason that you can do it.
Right. All right. We're at the hour mark. You want to do unscripted real quick? And
It's new unscripted.
all right, I'll go first.
All right.
Ended up going to Albuquerque, like I stated last week.
Mhm.
Me and Jackson got up at 3 a.m. and hit the road. It was a long trip. It was a long day. We didn't get back till 7 p.m. But it was cool. We got to hang out a little bit. You know, he slept a little bit, but for the most part, we just kind of chopped it up and listened to music, and it was a good time. Jackson's a good. He's a really good kid. He's just a good human. And so he's kind of quiet too. So there's probably a couple times where for 15 minutes we didn't say shit. We were just both awake and just kind of going with the flow or listening to music. But I had a really good time with him, and I appreciated him, you know, being a 13, almost 14-year-old kid and getting up at 3 a.m. to hang out with his dad, which I'm sure was not that much fun. He could have slept until 11 and got up and played video games all day, but he chose to come with me. So I appreciated him for that. And then this other one's kind of brief, but got to see Logan for the first time in a couple months. It was good to see him, and like we chat every weekend, but physically seeing him, giving him a hug, having him interact with his siblings, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
That's cool. Very nice. I just you said hug, and there's this thing I saw the other day, and it was like there's a point in your kids' lives that this will be their last hug that they ever get. Will be the
Damn.
last time that you hug your kids or pick up your kids. And I was like, shit, that's like think about the last time that you picked up Logan. There was a time where it was the last time and you haven't done it since.
Right. Right.
And
So I should pick him up next time I see him.
pick them up and make them feel weird. Because as they become adults, it's almost like this is it's kind of weird. How does your dad say hi? Well, he picks me up and he cradles me like a baby, just like good old times. you know, um, I think my unscripted is just when we went to Thanksgiving, and then my mom took my daughter for Friday, Saturday, and she's bringing her back today. Um, my daughter's super. She's got such a big heart, but she is so stubborn, and she doesn't mind like speaking her mind. And again, she teared up like crazy, and she was very, very scared. Not scared, but more like, I guess, worried to not be around us for multiple days. And I think as parents, we need to be reminded of those moments that our kids are still kids, and no matter how difficult they might seem, and day to day, or whether it's school or the dinners or showers, all this stuff is such a it's really not them, and inside there's still this sweet, gentle little child. And it's funny, she like made me tear up. I'm like, dude, you're going away for a couple of days. It's not that big of a deal. But for her it was hard. And when she left, she was happy. Like, she called us that night. We did our prayer, and she was good. So that's just my father unscripted. Daughters
Yeah,
being
I
daughters,
went
and
through the same thing with Evelyn, and sometimes it was only for a day.
yeah,
And her thing was is that she loses a day with me, and
yeah.
she already gets limited days with me. But to your point, once she got there every single time, my mom just spoiled the shit out of her, and she loved it, and she loved it. She's actually at my mom's right now, so she'll be back at noon today. So
The daddy's girls, man. No matter what. I was my biggest fear is like, you have strippers and they all say they have daddy issues. Like my biggest fear is like I don't want my daughter to grow up and be like, I have daddy issues. Like I don't want to mess up my daughter. Like I want to love her as much as I can. And god damn it, is it difficult at times. Like it is a difficult thing.
agreed. All right, let's do the question.
I'm ready for the question.
Okay. Um. All right, I got two. If you had to choose a Christmas character, because it's close to Christmas time.
Best time of the year. Best time of the year, man.
If you had to choose a Christmas character to sacrifice to save humanity, who goes first?
Charlie Brown.
Jesus. You were like ready for it.
Mhm. No
Okay.
offense. No offense, Charlie. I'm not sacrificing the Grinch. I'm definitely not sacrificing Santa Claus or any of his reindeer or just a no-name elf. Charlie Brown, I'm sorry,
Damn.
but
Okay.
you were done. How about
Uh
you?
Frosty the Snowman.
He's a magical creature.
No. I want to melt him with a fucking torch.
Are you serious?
Sorry. I'm really sorry.
Snow slaughter right there.
Yeah.
God damn, we're gonna turn
Turn
him
him
into
into
icy,
water. All
into a
right.
water ice.
Here's the real question.
Yeah.
If you saw someone about to ruin their life, but they'd never know you could stop it, would you intervene? Okay. I thought it was a good question, and then the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, who the fuck says no?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's who says no. I think some people worry about that's not my place.
Okay. Then that's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
because who's to say that, you save them from this life altering event and then something else horrible happens. Um,
Oh, the butterfly effect.
yeah. Because I genuinely, dude, I don't know why, but I am so devoted to the fact or to the statement that everything happens for a reason. There anything that's horrible, and I know like there's a lot of bad shit out there. I know. But I think everything happens for a reason. And it's for us to find that reason and to take whatever happened to us that's not great and to see the benefit of it if there is any. And sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
Um, and to make the best of it because we can't be defined by all the terrible things that happen in our lives and all of our failures, our losses, all this stuff. No.
When I think to your point, I think it's very understated when you see like a parent that lost somebody to a kidnapping or to a brutal murder or something like that, and then they go out and talk about safety or like whatever the situation was, like they're changing people's lives and they don't even know it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they do know it, but like just talking about that stuff takes a ton of courage.
Yeah.
If it happened to you, you could just ball up and just turn into a fucking hermit the rest of your life because you hate society and you hate everything about it. But there's a lot of people that do a lot of positive stuff from it. So I think to your point, you're right. And I agree with you too. Everything does happen for a reason. Is fucked up as that shit sounds, but it can't just be the good stuff happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bad stuff happens for a reason.
You can't have good without bad, man. Like that's like I think people were I'm going to use the billionaires of this world, and you have people that don't make the money and they fucking hate billionaires. Oh, they're a piece of shit. They're this and that. Like, dude, you know what? Those guys will outwork fucking all of you.
Be better.
Exactly. Be better. Like, don't sit there and say, "Wow, they're so lucky they have that." No, what can you do to accumulate that wealth? What can you do to push yourself and your life forward? Oh, you have to do something consistently? That's hard. You can't do it? You're not disciplined. I'm not disciplined. Like, I'll be the first one to say it. I'm super dude, I'm super great for that fucking sprint, but then I hit a wall and I'm done. until I get enough juice to sprint again. Like consistency in people's lives, especially when you look at like the high earners of society. I think that people just look for a reason of why they're in that position and not taking their position and making the best out of it. It's like we're always looking at how deep the hole is, not figuring out how to carve out the size to build a fucking ladder. And
Well done. That was a much better question than I thought.
that was a great question, man.
Yeah, dog.
It's fucking good. The first one, I was like, dude, he's got to have something better.
Yeah, that was the second question was my real question, but
I
I
liked your
also had
second
looked
one.
up some Christmas questions, so I thought
Yeah,
that was funny.
I liked your Christmas question.
All right.
All right.
Well, good episode.
Yep.
Like,
What's
follow, subscribe,
I was gonna
comment,
say
take a risk.
that's what I was
Don't
gonna
take
say.
a risk if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I guess you could still take a risk if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Take a
But
very calculated risk.
what's what's one last piece of advice you can give to somebody that is looking to start a business and they're a father or just an individual?
One word or one piece of
No,
advice?
one piece of advice. I mean, one word is fucking difficult.
Um, I honestly, it's take the risk. Take the risk. If you're passionate about it and you trust your like I go with my gut a lot, and sometimes it fails me, but more times than not, it doesn't fail me. But take the risk. And like I said, you can do a calculated risk, right? Like your business model is a great example. Turn it into a hobby that you can start generating money from, and then let it grow from there.
Yeah. I think mine would be, and I'm sure you've heard this one before, but I hope that the fear of staying the same outweighs the fear of being great. Um, no, I think I said that backwards. I hope that no, yeah, no, I did say it right. I hope that you're more scared to continue down the path that you've built for yourself today, that's stagnant, that you're unable to get out of it, that you take that leap and you take those risks to put yourself in a new path forward for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for anyone else that's going to value from what you've experienced in life and the service that you're able to provide to them.
Yep, I think it's great. I also think that it's still calculated, but if you could go all in, you need to go all in.
Yeah.
Don't don't just dabble.
Yep. If you're a dad, start an OnlyFans.
What are you doing on your OnlyFans? Showing your dick or
I mean, probably. I mean,
okay,
that's like a big part of it. Want to show my fingers,
your feet
my feet. Look at these cracked
and mashed
heels.
potatoes?
Yo, some people make bank doing that. That just doesn't settle with me.
I'm with you. It's fucking weird. I'm kink
Yeah,
shaming right now, and I'm sorry, but it's weird that you'd pay to see somebody walk on mashed potatoes.
yeah. I mean, even with the prettiest of feet, it's just so messy. Sounds of the mashed potatoes squishing between your toes. Yeah,
I'm
this
kind of
is.
into it.
You just got a sound playing. You don't know what's going on, and you open your eyes like, "Oh my god, I actually did love this whole time." um, well, help us on.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. We'll see
Nine
you
in a
guys
row
next
today.
week.
Going for 9
What,
in a row.
9 wins?
9 wins in a row.
Oh, I hope they lose. Just
You're
kidding.
fucked.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.